I haven't made a video in a very long time, but I'm back and I have videos planned out for the next while. So hopefully I will be consistent. I will be consistent. Um, I wanted to do my birth story video. Um, this is probably going to be two parts because I'm just long-winded and it's going to be really long. I already know it. So this is part one, kind of like pre-labor, labor, and then maybe the next one will do delivery. We'll see how it goes. My baby is now 6 months old, 6.5 months. He's actually napping right now, and I don't know where I put my monitor. Hold on. I was staring at it right in front of me. Also, if you hear the camera focusing in and out, I'm sorry. I need to get a different camera. I'm using like my really nice photography camera, and I need to get like a vlogging camera. Anyways, baby is sleeping. I don't know how long he will sleep for, but we'll bring him in if he wakes up. But yeah, I don't even know where to start. I really do wish that I recorded this like soon after so that I had a better recollection of what happened and could relay the information better. But we're 6 months out and hopefully I can like kind of put everything together. I was gonna write everything down like bullet points, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go off the cuff and hopefully we don't get lost. So yeah. Okay, part one, birth story, here we go. So let's start kind of at like my last OB appointments. So I would go in, I think starting at 36 weeks, you go in every week. So 36, 37, 38, 39 until you have your baby. And so every time I would go in, I don't think I was ever dilated. I think she was trying to be nice and she was like, maybe a 1 if I like stretch it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I didn't want to get my hopes up or get my hopes down. Either way, I didn't really care. I was just hoping my body would have a baby when it was ready. So I went into my, I think it was a 39-week appointment, and I was hoping it was my last one. But I don't know, I was just worried about going too far over where this is my first baby. I didn't want him to be too huge. I don't know, I was just nervous. I didn't think I would go like so far over that I would have to get induced. So I just set a date just to be safe, just to have it in case I needed it. And I was hoping to go into labor naturally, like before the date anyways. So I set the date for August 4th, which was almost a week. It was 6 days after my due date. So my due date was July 29th. And yeah, so I had that date set. So then the last like week or so before I had my baby, I don't know why, but we're gonna get TMI in here, so you can leave if you don't like if you don't like TMI stuff, birth and bodily fluids. I for some reason started to have diarrhea like a week or week and a half before I had my baby, and I don't know why. I tried to like look up things, and some people were saying it's your system just like preparing itself. It's like flushing everything out. But like, I'm like, why a full-on week? Why do I need to flush out a full-on week before? So like every day I would just get like stomach cramps, and then I'd like have to rush to the bathroom, and it was just like not fun at all. It was like I was sick, but like I didn't feel sick, but I just like constantly had to go to the bathroom, constantly had stomach cramps. And it was so annoying, and it was probably my least favorite part of my entire pregnancy, to be honest. Like the end, like the last week was my least favorite because of the diarrhea situation, and also because I felt like I just got so much bigger in the last like 2 weeks. I couldn't breathe, like just so much pressure and like stretching. It's just uncomfy. And I remember at like 36 weeks someone being like, "Oh, are you just done?" And I was like, "No, like I'm good. Like I could do this for a while longer. Like I'm fine." Yeah, the last couple of weeks are like not fine. I'm not fine. I am ready to have a baby. So I had this diarrhea and I just was like, I just want to have this baby come out so this like situation, this stomach situation can be done and over with, because I was so annoyed. So have this diarrhea situation, my due date comes and my due date goes, and I'm just still having diarrhea and just not going into labor. No contractions really. And it was hard for me to even know what a contraction was. I've never had a baby before, so I was just like guessing with everything. So then I think it was like a couple days before I had my baby. Days go by. We are like 40 and 4 days probably. And I think I started having some contractions, but they weren't consistent and they weren't anything crazy. I never lost my mucus plug either. I don't know. So I would wake up in the night with like a few contractions. They were like fairly painful, but like more like, I don't know, just like painful period cramps. But then I would just fall back to sleep and it would be nothing, and I would just go about my day the next day. So I was supposed to go in August 4th at 4 a.m. is when the doctor had me scheduled. And then the day before that, so August 3rd, right? Yes. They call me and they're like, "Hey, your doctor wants you to come in at midnight instead of 4. And I'm like, okay, sure, like the faster the better, because I'm so miserable at this point. So I'm like, okay, sounds great, blah, 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 blah. So then I actually start contracting. Like, actually, maybe they probably called me August 2nd. And then on August 3rd, I actually started contracting like I wanted to on my own. It really was just like period cramps, and so I couldn't really tell if it was it or not. But I would try to time them on my phone, and they were like getting fairly close. I don't know, maybe like between 5 and 10 minutes. But this was like more in the evening, and so I was like, great, like I'm already contracting, my body's like kind of starting the process for me, and we'll just go in and have a baby and get induced, whatever. So that was nice that I don't know, my body did start doing it, so I feel like I would have gone into labor, but I was already scheduled, so I was like, we're just gonna go. So we get to the hospital at midnight, we get all checked in. I think I started Pitocin around 1 a.m. When they checked me, I think I was at just maybe a 2, 2.5 maybe. So we were just like, okay, like we'll just hang out for a bit, try to sleep, because it was midnight and we were both exhausted, and we knew we were going to be exhausted with a newborn baby. But did we sleep? No. We did not sleep. I'll insert a picture of Jake. Literally, he's like, looks like a mummy. He just has the sheet literally over his entire body, head and all, but I don't think he really slept much. So then they just get me all hooked up, you know. They come in every once in a while, check on me, and I think I had them check me because the contractions weren't like unbearable, but like enough that I would be like, I could get an epidural, because I was planning on getting it anyways, so like why wait and endure the pain if I was gonna get it. So I asked them to check me, and then they just said if there was any change that I could get the epidural. So I didn't have to be like I didn't have to be to a 5 or to a certain number, but there was some change. I think it was at a 3 or 3.5. So they got me the epidural, or they got the gag, what's he called? The anesthesiologist. And I'm actually really glad that I asked for it that early because, I don't know, I've watched a lot of birth videos and I've seen a lot of the women just like in so much pain from the contraction. So like it was just hard to like keep still to get the epidural, you know? I feel like the most uncomfortable part of the epidural was like hunching over because you got this like literal beach ball right here. So like getting in the position that they wanted you to be in is like really uncomfy, but like my contractions weren't at like a terrible point yet, so it wasn't too bad. The worst part of the epidural was just the numbing shot because it just kind of like stung for like a second, so I was like, ooh. But the actual epidural, I feel like it was just pressure and really wasn't bad at all. What was bad though was afterwards. I can feel it like start, you know, the numbing start, but it didn't go on my right side. So I was like, okay. And so the nurses would come in, I'd be like, my right side, like I can feel everything. And I was like grasping onto the hospital bed, just like in pain. And it was only my right side, so I can only imagine what both sides would feel like without the epidural. But I'm like grabbing onto the bed and they're like tried to like put me on my side to maybe like let the, you know, medicine work its way to my right side, but that did not work. So we had to get the anesthesiologist back in, and I'm glad we got this worked out, that he like readjusted and then got me some more and it worked on both sides. So then I could just like peacefully sit there. I feel like there are so many details that I'm missing, but the catheter is probably worse than the epidural. The catheter is the worst part of the whole thing. Like I even forgot to even mention like my IV and all the things that they do. That was not bad. Epidural, not bad. The catheter, I don't know why, it's just so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfy and weird. I don't like. But obviously you have to if you get an epidural because you can't walk around. Anyways, so I have a catheter, I have my epidural, I am good to go. So when I got the epidural, I was at like a 3.5. And I think, hold on. I know I sent my mom some texts because I had my mom come. My mom and my husband were the only ones there, but I didn't need her, like she didn't need to come at midnight and stay because who knows how long I was going to labor for, you know. So let me find my texts to my mom. So around at 3:50 she said, "What's happening? Are you sleeping?" And at 4 in the morning I said, "Just got the epidural, wasn't too bad. I was only at a 3 before, so I think I still have a bit of time. Might try to close my eyes for a bit." So that was at 4. And then things go quickly. The nurses changed shifts at 5 in the morning, so I got a new nurse. The weird thing about the nurse, I don't know. The nurse that I had when I delivered my baby, I'm so glad I had because she was just so like rock solid and knew exactly what she was doing and was so confident, so I'm so glad I had her. But the nurse before, I don't know why, I felt like my water had broken, or I just felt like liquid down there, fluid. And so she checked me and she was like, "Oh yeah, I think your water did break." I was like, "Oh, cool." And then when my new nurse started, she checked me and she was like, "No, there's still like a big water sac in there, so your water did not break." So I was like, what? So my water hadn't broken yet. And I have another text from my mom at 5:15 when they checked me, and she said, I said, "I'm at a 7 and they're setting up the room." Like things went, when I tell you things went so fast and I'm missing a million details, like it's just, yes, that's what happened, because things went so fast I didn't even have time to process. And I feel like that was one of my fears, was that I didn't want it to go so fast that I like couldn't remember, or like things were just, you know, I couldn't process. So it went really fast and things started to get kind of scary. I don't want to like leave you on a cliffhanger, but I might. So right after I sent that text to my mom, she was like on my way. So she got there probably 5:30 in the morning. And then I remember, I'm pretty sure she was there when my water broke because my nurse was checking me. And my water literally just like popped. Like it bursted. You know when you have your legs in a butterfly when they check you, and I had socks on. And so she just got done checking me, and my water literally just goes and like all over my socks, all over the bed. It was gross. It was everywhere. And she takes my socks off and just like chucks them off to the side. They were thrown away afterwards. But yes. So like the laboring part for me was like really not painful because I got the epidural and it was incredibly fast how quickly I was dilating. So I think I'm going to end here. And the rest will be in the next video of part 2 of my labor and delivery, and this will be more of the delivery, how it went, and it got a little scary. So if you want to know more, watch part 2, and I'll see you over there. Okay, bye.